everyone, and welcome back to Dragons and Spaceships. I'm your host, Brandy, and today we are diving into something dark, thrilling, and totally unforgettable. We are going to be talking about Rose in Chains by Julie Soto, a story that's about magic, trauma, survival, and the fight to reclaim your own power in a world that wants to consume you. Now, fair warning, this book is intense. It's political intrigue, it's fantasy, it's romance, but at its core, it's about survival, resistance, and learning to wield your own power when everything you love is at stake. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. But quickly, before we jump into the main story, let's spotlight a trending book talk favorite. Up next, a trending thriller for you, The Big Empty by Robert Crace. Private investigator Elvis Cole and his partner Joe Pike are back, diving into a cold case that's anything but simple. Tracy Beller, now a social media influencer, hires Elvis to find her father who vanished 10 years ago. But the search quickly turns dangerous as deadly criminals and dark secrets emerge. With twists at every turn, Elvis and Pike navigate a web of deception where victims and predators blur, and justice comes at a steep price. Go see for yourself why this book is trending and let us know what you think. Okay, let's get into Rose in Chains. At its heart, this is a story about resilience, autonomy, and the ways in which the past shapes our present. Our main character, Martha Winter, is a survivor. She escapes an abusive past, and her journey isn't just physical, it's deeply psychological. We see her grapple with fear, trust, and the constant push and pull between vulnerability and self-preservation. Martha's journey mirrors in many ways the societal pressures and historical limitations placed on women, and this is reinforced through her connection to Madame Bowden, a mysterious mentor figure who guides her while maintaining her own enigmatic aura. The relationship between Martha and Madame Bowden is layered, at once protective, guiding, and slightly mystical. It's a reflection of how guidance and empowerment often come from unexpected places, and it highlights the support women can provide each other. Now, let's talk about the psychological depth of the characters. Martha, her fear of vulnerability is palpable. Every action she takes is filtered through past trauma, yet her resilience shines because she continuously chooses agency over victimhood. Then we have Shane Winter. The abusive ex-husband is not just a plot obstacle, he embodies the persuasive societal structures that try to control and silence women. His presence forces Martha to confront her past in a way that's unavoidable and emotionally transformative. Then we have Henry Field. His rare book obsession might seem like a niche passion, but psychologically, it's about seeking validation and purpose. His interactions with Martha catalyzes his own self-discovery, illustrating how our connections with others reveal parts of ourselves we often ignore. But now let's talk about some symbolism. The reoccurring chains and cages imagery in the story isn't just about literal confinement, it's about emotional and societal constraints, and the subtle motif of books as escape recurs throughout, reinforcing that literature isn't merely entertainment, it's transformative, a portal to freedom and understanding. But now let's get into some of the more debate-worthy elements of the book. Martha's decision to eventually return home after Shane's death. What do you think? On one hand, it's a return to family and roots. On the other, it's a complex navigation of trauma, autonomy, and loyalty. It raises questions about what home truly means for someone who has been abused. Then there's the relationship with Henry. His initial focus on the manuscripts over Martha's emotional well-being. Is this selfishness or a reflection of societal conditioning and personal insecurities? It's the kind of dynamic that keeps readers invested because it's messy, human, and reflective of real-life relational complexity. Some readers also debate Martha's resilience versus vulnerability. Is she too cautious, or is her caution exactly what makes her journey compelling and believable? And what about Madame Bowden? What's her ultimate role? Is she simply a mentor, or does she represent a mystical continuity between the past and present, linking generations through knowledge, wisdom, and storytelling? Here's where we can add some richness. The author draws heavily on post-war social dynamics. The story hints at shifts in gender roles, the lingering trauma of war, and the rise of women claiming autonomy in both subtle and overt ways. Another interesting point is the author has spoken in interviews about the use of literary spaces, bookshops, libraries, and letters as central characters in themselves. This elevates Rose in Chains from a simple narrative to a meditation on the power of stories to preserve memory, enforce agency, and inspire courage. But then we need to pay attention to these subtle threads. We have Madame Bowden's cryptic stories foreshadow Martha's journey and hint at historical connections that aren't immediately clear. Then we have the reoccurring imagery of keys, locks, and hidden manuscripts isn't just thematic, it's foreshadowing events and personal revelations that culminate near the story's climax. And readers who notice the parallels between Henry's rare book pursuits and Martha's personal discoveries often comment on the narrative symmetry. One searches for lost literature, the other searches for lost parts of herself. To wrap up, Rose in Chains is more than just a tale of escape. It's a layered exploration of empowerment, identity, and the connections that bind us to others and to history. Whether it's the mentorship of Madame Bowden, the courage of Martha, or the subtle yet enduring influence of literature, this book invites readers to reflect on the chains they face in their own lives and the ways they might break them. So if you've read this book, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you notice the foreshadowing? How did you interpret Madame Bowden's role? And which character's journey resonated with you the most? But next up, before we end this episode, let's take a quick look at a book that will be released next year. My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney, expected to release January 26, 2026. This psychological thriller follows Eden Fox, an artist on the brink of her first big expedition who returns to her new home, Spyglass, only to find a woman eerily like her claiming to be her husband's wife. Meanwhile, Birdie, a reclusive Londoner, uncovers a shadowy clinic that predicts death, setting off a chain of secrets and lies. With obsession, deception, and twists at every turn, this is going to be a mind-bending marriage thriller where nothing is as it seems. And if we know anything about Alice Feeney, is that she is good at those twists and turns. So I personally can't wait for this one. Well, that's it. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of Rose in Chains. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Dragons and Spaceships, where we explore all trending, magical, and transformative books out there. Don't forget to comment or message your questions for a chance to be featured in the next time we do a Q&A. Until next time, happy reading, stay curious, and may your TBR pile never stop growing.